What if I told you that most incredibly talented people are just one single skill away from transforming that talent into some serious wealth? Well, that's the powerful idea we're going to unpack today, straight from Robert Kiyosaki's classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
This quote, right here, this is the key to the whole thing. It's something Kiyosaki once said to a young reporter in Singapore, a reporter who had big dreams of becoming a best-selling author herself.
So picture this. She was a fantastic writer, a truly gifted author. But her books, they just weren't selling, and it was driving her crazy. Because here's Robert Kiyosaki, a guy who freely admits he's not a great writer, and he's a global bestseller. So naturally, she asked him, "What's your secret?"
And his advice? Take a sales training course. Whoa. The reporter was floored. She was offended. She had a master's degree, she was a professional writer, but Kiyosaki just laid it out for her. He said, look, you want to be a best-selling author, not a best-writing author. He was a bestseller because he understood one crucial thing she didn't, how to sell.
And this little story just hits the nail on the head. It exposes this massive myth that holds so many people back. This idea that just being the absolute best at your craft, being the best writer, the best chef, the best coder, is enough to make you successful. But as we just saw, the real world often works very, very differently.
So here's the big idea, the core lesson. Most talented people, just like that reporter, are literally one skill away from achieving incredible wealth. And it's not about working harder at what you're already good at. It's about adding a completely different, complementary skill to your toolbox. And that brings us to this powerful concept, the synergy of skills. The idea is that real, sustainable wealth doesn't come from being a master of one thing. It comes from the powerful combination of skills. It's like 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 10. Each skill you add makes all your other skills that much more valuable.
Think about it like this. You can have a genius-level skill, but if you can't communicate its value, your income is going to be pretty flat. But the moment you add communication, and then you add some sales skills, and then a little marketing know-how, your income doesn't just go up a little bit. It jumps. It grows exponentially.
Now, to really get where this philosophy comes from, you have to understand the two main influences in Kiyosaki's life. He had his poor dad, his real father, who was highly educated but always struggled with money. And then he had his rich dad, his best friend's father, an entrepreneur. And their views on work and skills, they were polar opposites.
Poor dad believed what most of us are taught: specialize, become an expert in one tiny little field, value job security, and rely on things like unions for protection. Rich dad, he preached the exact opposite. His advice was to know a little about a lot. He wanted Robert to understand the entire system of a business, not just one small piece of it.
And you can see this play out in Robert's own career. His path must have looked absolutely bonkers to his poor dad. He quit a high-paying job with Standard Oil to join the Marines. Why? To learn leadership. Then, after that, he took a job at Xerox. Why? To learn sales and get over his fear of rejection. Every single move was about acquiring a new skill, not about the paycheck.
And the advice Rich Dad gave him on leadership was, well, pretty intense. He said that leadership isn't some fluffy, soft skill. It's a survival skill. And the penalty for being a bad leader is severe, whether you're in the middle of a war or in the middle of a boardroom. Okay, so this whole idea of stacking practical, real-world skills is everything in Rich Dad's world. But how do you actually visualize how they all work together? Well, he used a really simple and brilliant analogy to explain it all: the hamburger business.
So I'm going to ask you the same question Robert asks his students. Be honest. Could you, right now, cook a better hamburger than you can get at McDonald's? I'm willing to bet almost every single one of you is thinking, yeah, of course I can.
But here comes the follow-up question, the one that kind of stops you in your tracks. If your hamburger is so much better, then why does McDonald's make billions of dollars, while you don't? What's the real difference here?
And here's the answer. It's a total game changer. McDonald's isn't really in the hamburger business. They are in the business systems business. See, they've perfected how to manage cash flow, how to create delivery systems that are the same everywhere, and how to manage people. Most of us focus on making a better product, a better burger. McDonald's focused on building a better system. So this all leads us to the final and maybe most important takeaway for you and your own career. It's about making a fundamental shift in your perspective, moving away from just thinking about the short-term paycheck and toward the long-term goal of acquiring skills. Put simply, work to learn, not just to earn. You know, Rich Dad had a pretty provocative nickname for a typical job. He called it being just over broke. He saw it as a temporary fix for a permanent problem. Because if all you're ever focused on is that next paycheck, you're trapped in the rat race. You never take the time to learn the skills that build real, lasting wealth. So what's the path forward? It's really about following this simple law of money. First, always be a student. Never stop learning new things. Second, learn to be a seller. You have to be able to communicate your value. And third, be a teacher. Share what you know with others. Because it all boils down to this. The more value you can give to the world, the more you will receive in return.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Take a look at your own life, your own incredible talents and goals, and ask yourself, what is that one skill, maybe it's sales, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's leadership, that could be the key to unlocking everything for you? What skill will you learn next?